Here we go.
What is up, everybody? My name is Stephen, and welcome to Time to Nerd Out podcast. Today we're going to be discussing Arrow, The Flash, Doctor Who, the Black Lightning trailer, Tom Hardy's casting as Venom, as well as new comic purchases. Today I'm joined with...
Jack, who is the Flash.
And Scotty Boy, who is known as Nightwing.
Okay, gents, should we jump straight into Arrow?
Yeah, sure.
Lovely. Happy to.
So, this week's episode that's coming up, the finale, Deathstroke returns.
My goodness.
Well, that's the thing. How are they going to go about it, though, obviously? Because, we've got one episode left. Are they going to risk killing off Deathstroke, and therefore we've lost Deathstroke as a character, no more bringing him back? Or, I mean, what are they going to do? Surely they're not just going to slam him back in the Argus prison after that, because they made such a huge thing about him returning.
Yeah.
Were they really just chuck him back after an episode?
I reckon they're going to kill him off.
If anything, it'd be a fucking comedy.
The thing is with Deathstroke, though, they'd have to, for us to have any real sort of emotion behind him being killed off, bear in mind he's still got the Mirakuru, so it'd be difficult to kill him off anyways. But, I mean, there's not really any emotion behind it. All there is nostalgia, realistically. So I think, unless they're going to build the emotion throughout the entire episode around him, I feel like it'd probably be a waste of killing a character off just so that we can have the shock moment, and then we just don't have Deathstroke anymore in the show.
I think what they might do is, like, Deathstroke saves Oliver, maybe.
Yeah.
And then that brings you in the emotions, because he's risked his life for his enemy, pretty much. I guess they could go that way. Or they could go, like, they could explain it's the Earth 2 version. Maybe. I don't know. They could go any way with it. Yeah.
Well, the way I see it, I think it's going to be the case of, like, he comes back, saves Ollie, and then, like, in the next series, he'll be like, it's like, I saved you, so you have to do something for me. So he tries blackmailing Oliver in some way.
Same way that Captain Cole did on The Flash.
Yeah.
He saved him, didn't he?
Did you see Wendy Miracle, I think her name is, the producer? She said that in the next season, we're going to be gaining 3 new regular team members and losing 1. But we don't. She didn't specify whether that was going to be next season or if someone's going to die in this episode. I feel like if they're going to lose a team member, they should kill someone off, just because it would really hit home how badass Prometheus is, realistically. Because he has, I mean, yeah, he's been a badass and I've loved him as a villain. But he hasn't actually killed anyone of the main cast, realistically. So it's kind of... It adds a real weight behind his character if we actually lose one of the team and it's him that's done it. That'd really leave its mark on the show, I think.
That's true. But who could it be? I know everyone will want Felicity gone.
Yeah.
I don't think they would kill her off. But I don't know, because they've just rekindled their love. So they may kill her off.
Yeah, now is kind of the perfect time to kill her off, because they've just built up the emotion with them finally getting back together.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. They're obviously not going to kill off Diggle. They just wouldn't risk killing off Diggle, because he's part of the original.
It's going to go out a bit. They work the character out, so he just doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. So, like, he can go off and do stuff in Afghan or whatever. Maybe go back to the army.
Also, I heard
Stephen
Amell tweeted about there's going to be like someone who joins the team for the last episode that hasn't been in it.
Yeah,
or it's a surprise.
Or like the biggest surprise cameo, like the person he's most happy to have back. I'm thinking it's got to be Roy Colton Haynes, because there were like rumors about him being in an episode this season. Like, and apparently pictures of him on set as well. I think who else could it be? Unless it's going to be Like, well, no, because Roy's alive as well. So I feel like anyone else that they could bring back that would be like a surprise cameo is dead. So how would they?
But what if they went down the route of rips off Roy's arm?
What was that? Sorry.
Yeah, we just completely lagged out there. Scott.
Oh, sorry. I'll just move the mic a little bit. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was just your internet, but.
Off now. Right. Yeah, basically, what I was saying is like the fact in Cry for Justice, one of the comic books, Prometheus is the one who takes off Roy Harm and then sends him into a spiral with like.
Right. Your internet is a bit. Your internet's a bit dodgy. The sound keeps lagging. And your screen has totally stopped now for me.
I've stopped, have I?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. This is bad. I don't know what the hell's up. What is up with my internet? Someone help my internet.
It's because you live in sheepland.
Well, Swan, sheepland. Well, that's the thing. I'm not even in a countryside. That's the thing.
Oh, damn.
Right then. Let's try doing this a third time. So if I hold the microphone here. This is a fun podcast. How to be a better arranged.
Yeah. Sorry to the 4 viewers that are watching right now.
Maybe we can put the timestamp, just Nightwing's bloopers, and then it's just like a minute. Like, every 10 minutes we got a minute of bloopers.
Yeah. What can I say? It's part of my charm. But anyway, going back to Arrow, has anyone read the Cry for Justice comics?
No.
It's basic. They follow the events of Infinite Crisis, where Roy Harper gets his arm cut off by Prometheus.
Right.
So I think, like, if they don't kill off a character, that could be a way to write off Roy Harper's character completely.
Could be interesting, because that way, if they don't kill off a character, it means that we've brought Roy back for an episode, which is like, nice. It's a surprise cameo. And then if they cut his arm off, that's the emotional weight that, every finale needs some emotional weight behind it. A punch to the gut, I assume. And I think that would do it.
Do you reckon they'd kill Fear again?
Oh.
What was that?
That's a good show.
Do you reckon they would kill Fear off again?
She's
been absent this season for a bit, so
maybe that actually.
I reckon Fear's a cat. She's just got 9 lives, so she could die as much as she wants.
I tell you what, they might actually tell you what we haven't thought of. They might kill off Malcolm Merlin, because if you think about it, his story was kind of done, and then they did Legion of Doom in Legends, which kind of brought him back into it. But the only reason he's back in Arrow now is because Thea was taken. Yeah. Otherwise, he doesn't really have much else of a story. It doesn't seem.
I still want to know what he did with Vandal Savage's ashes.
Well, he's clearly the one that brought him back. Remember, because Vandal Savage died in Arrow or Flash, whichever one was second. And then he took the ashes, didn't he? And then Legends happened with Vandal Savage alive. So I think they kind of just left us to fill in the blanks of Malcolm Merlin brought back Vandal Savage. And obviously they had Rip Hunter say that he can be brought back from but a single cell if it's not Carter. If it's not Kendra that killed him.
Yeah, that's true.
Hold on. We have a comment from one of our friends, Richard Hutchins.
Oh, hello, Richard.
Going on the topic of Deathstroke.
Okay.
Basically, this is the comment he's left. Deathstroke helps Ollie, then knocks him out, then leaves, and then Nightwing, show confirmed. Yeah. Dick Grayson just comes along in like the end credits. I'm happy with that.
To be fair, I kind of thought when I saw that Deathstroke was coming back and Slade Wilson was coming back, and Manu Bennett said that he'd only ever agree to do Deathstroke again if it was going to be badass. And the first thing I thought when I saw that he was back and Deathstroke was back was that it's going to end with Ollie, maybe the rest of them as well, but specifically Oliver, stranded on Lian Yu again. Slade Wilson escapes, maybe in the plane that Oliver and Malcolm came over in, and Nissa.
Yeah.
And then that way it kind of rounds off the cycle, because obviously the show was only planned for 5 years initially, and that kind of concludes the story.
Yeah.
And it could be interesting if season 5 ends how season 1 began, with Oliver trapped on Lian Yu, and then season 6 can sort of start afresh with like.
I'm glad you brought that up, because in the new DC Rebirth comics, at the end of the first volume, Ollie's just had this big fight with his adopted sister. They've had this big, massive blow off. He ends up in the water, comes ashore, and he's just like, "Not again, please, not again." And it's just the island.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean, obviously they're going to go whichever way they think is best, but I mean, they need to give us a cliffhanger, and I think that would be a good enough cliffhanger with him being trapped on the island again. And then if he's just, they don't even need to play it out like next season. They can just have him off the island in like a couple of episodes at most. But it'd just be interesting to just springboard a brand new chapter, a brand new story with Oliver. Like they specifically said, Oliver now was like living for himself, being his own man rather than living for his father.
Yeah.
And it could be interesting to just launch the next season and however many future seasons from where it began.
That makes
also, I heard instead of doing flashbacks, they're going to do flash forwards in the next season.
Yeah, that could be interesting, because that worked quite well in season 4 when they gave us the flash forward of Laurel being dead. We just saw the grave, and then that kind of upped the ante. I mean, season 4 wasn't great, but I mean, it upped the ante because we were like, well, hang on, who's going to die? We know one person at least is going to die in the show.
Yeah.
And that kind of put the stakes up. Because then normally when you're 5 episodes into a season, or basically anywhere up to the last 2 episodes of the season, you know that they're not going to die. You know that they're just going to get into danger and then they'll be saved near the end. Yeah. Even if it's written really well, you know there's not really any lasting danger until the last couple of episodes. But when you know that a character is going to die, it kind of gives you that thing where you're like, well, we already know they're going to die, so they could just die at any point now and it still works.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, that's true. I'm just looking forward to seeing what they go with for the finale.
Yeah, I know we're getting Nissa against Talia. That's going to be a great battle.
That should be good. I just can't wait to see like what they do with it. It's just so excited.
Oh dear.
One thing I think that will be interesting is, I mean, I think at this point now it's fairly obvious Black Siren is going to join Team Arrow next season, because they've said that Katie Cassidy is going to be returning as a series regular. And also they brought in that whole thing in the last episode when she was tying up Quentin, when she was tying up Lance, and then she was like, oh, were they too tight? And they were they weren't very subtle about hinting that Lance is dead from her Earth. And obviously Oliver's dead as well from her Earth. Yeah. So I think maybe we saw kind of a more human side. I think maybe we're going to end up with her on the team. That way there's Katie Cassidy back. They'll do some things where she like has to act like Laurel or something like that, and it'll be weird for a bit. But I don't know. I think they might do that.
You say that? Then they might kill off the girl that's got the canary powers already.
Dinah, yeah. Actually, yeah, that's another thing. We don't actually know where Dinah and Renee are, do we? Because they're just not there. They were gone, but they weren't there, which is interesting.
Unless they both get killed off.
Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see.
Also, I when you were talking, I have had a little thought about who Vigilante could be next season.
Okay.
What about it's a different Earth, Ollie's son?
Well, a different Earth, William.
Or like a future. Just a little thought, but Could be anyone.
Just have to. That's the thing. Possibilities are endless.
If this was 2-3 seasons ago, I'd have said no. They're not going to do a future, like someone from the future is a villain on Arrow. And then when they've started The Flash and had a couple of metahumans as villains on Arrow, now I'm just sort of like not quite sure.
Yeah.
Because now they'll do anything.
Yeah, it's because Legends of Tomorrow fucked the timeline up, didn't they?
Yeah.
Big time.
Well, the thing is, though, they've also they've set their own rules as well, haven't they? By saying it takes time to become permanent, so they can fuck the timeline up, and they could have fixed it like straight away. Essentially, they could fix it in 3 episodes, and it might not have taken effect yet because it might not have set yet. I feel like that's the sort of thing they're going to go for, unless they. Did you read the details about Legends of Tomorrow season 3?
I didn't actually read it. I just sent it to you so you could read it.
Yeah, it sounds quite interesting actually. Apparently, I'm quite happy. Rip Hunter is still in it. Sounds like he's going to be a series regular, except he's going to kind of be the antagonist. Apparently, we're going to have. Since the Legends messed up time, they have to answer to the Time Bureau, which is run by Rip Hunter. So I'm guessing it's like a discount Time Masters.
And the twist is Doctor Who is the main villain.
But yeah, no. Then apparently the Legends disband because they realise that they can't really compete with the Time Bureau, and then Mick is in Aruba. Finally, Mick gets to go to Aruba, and then they just get back together and decide to do it anyway, which, ought to be interesting. I don't know why they decided. Seems like kind of a mess around. Kind of sounds like lazy storytelling, to be honest, if they're just like, oh, we can't do it, let's disband. But, we might as well give it a go anyway, and then get back together within 2 episodes. I don't know. It might even change by then, to be honest, because let's be honest, Legends has just finished. They've got a few months at least till they start filming. There's plenty of time for rewrites. In fact, most of the time they're still writing the scripts while they're filming them. So,
also we've got some comments in the chat. Beth Johnson, she says she's new. Who are the other guys? Please introduce yourself. Other guys.
The other guys.
First up.
My name's Stephen. Yeah, I'm other guy number 1.
Oh, my name is Scott, and I am guy number 2. No, but seriously, my name's Scott. I'm from Swansea, Wales, and I'm a big, massive geek. And you might have guessed at the beginning, massive Nightwing fan. Like, guy number 2. Nightwing. No, just, seriously. Again, technically, it's a dick pic. From Swansea, Wales.
Yeah.
I'm a big.
April says the timeline is always getting fucked. I agree.
I blame you.
That really messed me up then. I decided to look at the chat for the stream on YouTube, but just in another window. So I was like, I was listening to the podcast while watching the podcast on YouTube, and it was like overlapping, and it. Oh my god!
It's exactly the same thing. Oh
you can
dear!
open the chat window. It's cool. But yeah.
So paradoxes.
Let's move on to the Flash.
Yes. What did you think?
So, last episode was pretty good. I enjoyed it, as I always do. But you could put Flash in the 20s and I'd still fucking enjoy it.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so I enjoyed it. It's really good. Looking forward to the finale. Someone dies. I want to know who it is. I think someone dies, or because there's leaks.
That should be the tagline for all the CW shows. Everybody dies. Get used to it.
Yeah. There's like a leaked picture from set of the last episode with them all in like black and ties and stuff. Barry's mum's there as well, which is really fucking weird.
Oh.
So we see like the whole cast and Barry's
mum. that might be interesting then, because I've seen a picture from the finale where Iris is there, like with the rest of the cast, and then obviously that's why people were saying like, oh well, obviously Iris didn't die then. But if Barry's mum is there, who is quite clearly dead, I mean the entire show is about that, then you know that gives an excuse for why Iris is there. Maybe it's Barry, like maybe that's the whole thing. So obviously, Iris dying is what sends Barry into like the darkness, essentially.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it. Maybe the episode is going to be about Barry trying to sort of deal with his own emotions, and we're going to just get like,
the way I could see it playing out. I've probably asked this before. Has anyone ever watched Dexter?
No, I know what it's about.
Well,
I know what it's about.
The main character in it, like his father is dead at this point, but like we always get like scenes where like his subconscious is coming onto the screen, so it's like his father's just like appearing places and just having a conversation with Dexter. Maybe that's something they could play around with in the Flash. Maybe it's like Barry's just strolling around, and then like all these other characters just pop up, and he's just having a conversation, and then people are just thinking he's going a bit nuts, which he probably would.
I believe it's the Speed Force. I think he sacrifices himself, goes to the Speed Force, then he's trapped there. In season 4, it's him trying to get out of the Speed Force.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. I think he's going to go into the Speed Force.
Well, I mean, we know that Jesse Quick is in the next episode, and also if he's going into the Speed Force, then Jay Garrick will likely be in there. Well, he is in there, so
what in that photo?
In the episode.
Everyone's in that photo. So
no, I just meant in the Speed Force. Jay Garrick's in the Speed Force still. Yeah. So if Barry's going into the Speed Force, we'll probably get Jay Garrick. But I mean, the thing they've also got to think about is it can't be too sort of emotional and somber. I mean, it can, but I mean, there also needs to be plenty of action and stuff to get your teeth into as well, since it's a finale. Like, it's meant to be a crescendo building up to like a huge finale. And then if the last episode for the next like 4 or 5 months or whatever is just a slow paced thing with Barry trying to get over Iris's death, which we know he doesn't do, I think it'd be a waste of an episode, to be honest. But
to be fair, like it doesn't really matter if she does die because there's loads of versions of Iris in the multiverse. Earth 2 Iris.
Get another one.
Exactly. Yeah. Like Earth 2 Iris is so badass. Like she's the head of the police, isn't she?
Yes.
So I would prefer that one.
Yeah, just having like a pick a mix. It's like, what? Oh, I fancy that one. No, actually, I fancy this one.
The thing
Maybe
is,
that'll be another villain. It's like, oh.
It'd be interesting though, because I feel like I actually hope that they have actually committed to killing off Iris, because this entire season has been about her dying and the like all the emotion of the entire season, but especially the last episode, they made it a very final episode for her. Yeah. And then if they just wimp out and say, "Oh yeah, no, it wasn't her. It was actually somebody else using the face changer thing." Yeah, no, it wasn't really her. She's actually fine. She's just at home. She's eating pasta. She's chilling out. But it's like, on top of that, I kind of hate Iris as a character, or at least the way she is in the show. I mean, this season she's been nothing more than just Barry's love interest. The whole point of having like Caitlin Snow and even Iris originally was so that we can get an interesting character, but also a strong female character in like a leading sort of role. Yeah. And then this season, she's literally just been Barry's, like, she's just, oh yeah, no, my girlfriend, my fiance is going to die, so I need to save her.
It's kind of like a stock character who's just there to fill out the role sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like going on to... I know that, but it's like I'm going to refer back to one of the episodes from season 1. It's a simple episode. Caitlin and Barry just go to a bar, and then they end up having a couple of drinks. They sing karaoke, and then the next day, like they're just joking about how bladdered or hungover she is. It's like it's nothing dramatic, nothing major for the character, but it shows you the human side of them outside of the story. You know?
Yeah.
It's kind of like
I really liked their relationship together.
Yeah.
I think I would have preferred them as a couple than Iris.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bring back Patty.
Yeah, bring back Patty.
Hashtag bring back Patty.
I was kind of hoping she was Avatar. 1 or 2 step would have been.
Oh. There you go.
Plot twist.
Right. Any more notes from Flash, or?
I just want to know who the main villain is going to be next year or next season.
Yeah, because they've said it's not going to be a speedster.
No. So I think they might do like the whole Rogues gallery, maybe.
Yeah.
Just bring like the whole Rogues.
Yeah.
There's still so many that haven't done.
Yeah.
Also, I didn't know they didn't do Captain Boomerang on the TV show, only on Arrow.
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
If they brought him into the Flash, but mind you, Captain Boomerang is in the. He's with like Slade Wilson, isn't he? In Argus, shouldn't he? So it could be interesting that way. Or actually, be even like imagine being Captain Boomerang, just sat in the cell. Oliver Queen comes in, walks straight past you, and doesn't even acknowledge you, and just goes straight to Slade Wilson. Just like, yeah, I need your help. I can throw boomerangs and kill people. Yeah, I don't need you, mate. Shut up. All right, I just want him. He's got a sword.
Maybe that's the cameo that he was on about.
Yeah, I doubt that's going to be as high profile. Captain Boomerang isn't like the big cameo that people aren't expecting.
No. Supergirl.
Hey ho. So, what's next on the agenda?
I'll let you do your comic books because Alex is not here to talk about Doctor Who yet.
Yeah.
So.
Yes,
that's fine. Right then. So shout out before I actually get into this is Comic Shop Swansea Shoppers Walk. Honestly, check them out on Facebook, guys, because lovely guys in there. And literally, the stuff I'm picking up and the stuff they're suggesting is just top notch. Like, I'm going to start off, seeing as we talked about Samurai Jack last week. We've got this series of Cage, and it's pretty much like the classic cheesy Marvel comic Luke Cage, not like the badass that we've seen in like the Defenders. Literally, it's like the panels in here are so bright and quirky. It's like, it's just so entertaining. It's nothing serious, but like even the angles, like you could tell it's like by the same guy of Samurai Jack. And a fun fact for you, the guy in the shop was telling me, the Marvel paid the guy to write a series for Luke Cage 6 years ago, and it has only now started coming out this year.
Talk about procrastination.
Yeah, tell me. Well, I mean, if I got paid job and I didn't have to work for 6 years, I'd be happy with that.
Who wouldn't?
To be fair. No, but really, really good light-hearted reads. Typical comic book action, typical comedy. But I really do like it. And there's some really good cameos from like some of the X-Men in there, and they do look hilarious.
Oh, really? That's
especially Wolverine. Yeah, Wolverine literally looks like a caricature, like a big, massive square chin. He's just like looking really grumpy. It's so funny to look at.
Wow,
right?
They could do that in the films as well.
Well, you never know. And one that I think is like probably my top pick is Flash number 22. It's the final issue for the Button story arc between Batman and the Flash. And one, the cover is absolutely stunning because 3D and you get Jay Garrick on there. But you get a big, big hint for the Watchman, which is brilliant. Because like at the very end, like you see what happens from the first issue where Reverse Flash goes and literally he's there standing. You don't see anyone. He's just there horrified and he's just getting turned to dust. I was like, okay, this is pretty interesting. And then all you see is the comedian's button and then a blue hand, a blue glowing hand picking it up.
Wow. I wonder who that could be.
Beast from X-Men?
Yeah, definitely.
Savitar. Oh, no. I know who it is. It's the guy from the Blue Man Group.
It's Avatar.
Because I think...
Plot twist,
yeah, Avatar, basically.
Plot twist, it's actually one of the people from Titanic that went in the film.
Oh, it's Morph Suit Man.
Plot twist is Elsa.
Yes. Oh, can you imagine?
We have a Mr. Colson.
Oh, hello.
Mr. Colson, he's got his mic muted.
Time check for this.
I'm, tired as hell now.
Are you the Flash because you're running late?
Hey.
And you're wearing red.
And he's getting the long hair, so he's probably future Barry.
Emo Barry.
I'm Emo Barry.
Emo Barry. Just don't be like Peter Parker and fuck up a trilogy.
Hear that?
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
dear.
Carry on with your comic books, Scott.
Oh, yes. Anyway, there's one little bit I really do like in this comic is the fact, like, in the previous issue, we see like the Flashpoint finally being eradicated, and then with that means Thomas Wayne doesn't exist anymore. Like, it's literally just a memory for Bruce, but he knows no one else can ever experience that because obviously different dimensions. And in the previous comic, it ends with Thomas Wayne shouting as like the universe is crumbling and Flash and Batman are time traveling. He says, "Don't do this for me. Don't do this for your mother. Don't be Batman.
Don't be a
Batman." Yeah, no, well, yeah, he's literally saying like, just don't. It's not worth it. Like, you don't have to prove anything. And then at the end of this issue, all you see, like from the distance, window, and he sees the bat symbol shining in the sky, and Alfred's literally like, "Sir, are you going to answer that?" And then he just tilts his head down, says nothing, and I'm like, "Oh." It actually reminded me. Do you know that Spider-Man comic, the one where he actually throws his costume in the bin and walks away?
Yeah, I remember like the photo, but not actually.
It's basically like the second Spider-Man movie. You know, the one with Tobey Maguire where he just like dumps his suit and he says he's done.
Yeah,
That's what it reminded me of, but done so much better.
that's good.
But
does Jay Garrick actually appear in this new episode, the new comic?
he does. It transpires after the Reverse Flash disappears. They're still in the Speed Force, and then Jay Garrick saves them because like Bruce and Barry are drifting apart, and then Jay pulls them back together, like a mirror image of like the beginning of Rebirth, where Wally West is disappearing, and then Barry just shouts Wally to bring him back, but he can't remember Jay Garrick.
Oh shit!
But Jay literally just disappears from existence.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was like, what the hell just happened? I'm like, what? No, go back, please.
So basically,
Anything?
Just like, "Oh, hi there, I'm Jay Garrick. Oh wait, I don't exist anymore."
Pretty much.
Same.
You hit the nail right on the head.
Same.
That is pretty much what it is. But unfortunately, Jay Garrick is now officially gone from this universe.
And he's gone to Injustice 2.
Yes, Injustice 2. That's that happened.
That's
One more comic I want to talk about is X-Men Gold. I mentioned about X-Men Blue last week, and I thought I'd pick this one up because it's been a banning series so far. Literally, what drew me to this one is the fact that Gambit is the focus on the cover.
Oh, we all knew that was going to be a thing.
Oh yeah, I was literally like, okay, it looks awesome. But one thing that really pisses me off, Gambit's costume. Like, don't get me wrong, it's like they've really drawn back on it. It's like normal trench coat, just a few rags, like maybe some cargo trousers and all that sort of stuff. Hold on, I'm falling. Yeah, sorry. Just had to recharge my laptop there. Technical difficulties. But anyway, they changed his Gambit's costume, but they've also given him like this beanie hat, and he just looks like Link from Legend of Zelda.
Wow.
So I'm just like, what is happening? And yeah, it turns out in this story, the creator of the Sentinels has a daughter who's now running like the anti-mutant, and she's actually hired Gambit to pick up some nanobites or like oh, I can't even think of that, artificial intelligence devices through like a little capsule. Gambit tries to steal it back from her, and then he ends up creating like an ultimate Sentinel by accident.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not the best issue of the series, I'm gonna say, because of like I just thought it's like, it's all right. I expected a bit more, but overall, it's not a bad read. It's pretty decent. Trying to think what else. Yeah, Bullseye #1. This was another freebie I got from the shop. It's
Awesome.
It's pretty much what you'd expect from Bullseye, like psychotic, insane. And one of my favorite scenes is at the beginning where he literally goes to his agent. He says, it's like, right, I need another assassination case. And then this guy's just going through like all these cases. And in the meantime, Bullseye is just standing by a window, like twirling up some paper clips, flicking them outside. You don't think nothing of it. And then it cuts to the end of the scene. And he's just like, oh, by the way, you're out of paper clips. And then there's just like burning cars and dead bodies all outside this apartment building. And I'm like, clips. And I thought the one on Microsoft Word was a bastard. So yeah, that's pretty much all. Actually, there's one more I wanted to talk about. I'll make this quite quick. Secret Empire issue #2. Guys, I don't know what to make of Secret Empire. I really don't know if I like it or not. Because, like, it establishes in this issue that it turns out that Steve Rogers' mind has been altered by the cube. And it just turns out that the cube has, like, altered his memories, put, like, these false images in his head to believe that he's part of Hydra, where he's really not.
Hell Hydra.
And then these exactly.
I thought you were going to say how.
And then there's like,
No, God, no.
not quite.
That would have been very bad.
That would have.
That'd be less controversial.
Yeah.
But honestly, guys, I really don't know if I like this series. Like, it's all right, great, but this is like technically the third issue that they've done, and it's just like, nah, I don't know.
Fair
so
enough.
Yeah, it's just, you know, when you read, it's like what you were saying earlier, Stephen, before we started about Doctor Who. It's like you either love it or you hate it.
Marmite.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't know if it's Marmite or whether it's just me just being fussy. Probably the latter.
Or both.
Oh, both, yeah. Right. Okay, that covers all my comic purchases for this week.
If you're interested in that kind of thing, make sure you pick up some of the purchases that Scott has recommended. And yeah, should be good.
Defo, guys, honestly, I'll make an inquiry. I'm sure they'll be able to deliver you some graphic novels if you message them on Facebook and just inquire. Honestly, check them out, guys. You won't be disappointed.
There'll be a link in the description.
Will do.
But now, because Alex is here, we can talk about Doctor Who, the new episode that aired yesterday that I haven't watched yet.
Smooth segue.
Yeah.
But Alex and Stephen, have a blast.
So, Alex, what did you think of the episode?
I thought it was interesting.
Have you comprehended it yet?
Oh yeah, I was following along with it, and my brain was just like, okay, and it sort of, like, progressively, when it got to the point, like the moment you found out what was going on and all the crazy things. Wait, are we playing spoiler game today?
This has got to be spoiler free because they haven't watched it yet.
This is gonna be very difficult.
Yeah, I know. I tried explaining it before, and it was so difficult.
So basically,
do you want me to leave the room?
No. I've got an idea of how we can do it. Okay, so we're not going to give away any of the story. Just going to give the synopsis that you could read anywhere anyway, which is people are killing themselves. Okay? No one understands why, but the people who are killing themselves have read something. Not going into too much detail of everything, but basically people read something, they killed themselves because they read it. So so then it comes down to figuring out exactly why. I actually figured out why before the ending even came. I was like, yes, I knew it, because I've seen this sort of event in another show I watch.
I kind of thought it was going to be not necessarily exactly what it was. In fact, I've actually made a video on that personally, like a couple of months ago, which I was like, yes, I beat Doctor Who to the punch. But I think generally it was a really good and intriguing episode. But I mentioned to these guys before we went live, it was kind of, because it is a real life sort of theory, and like, in fact, many people believe it, it's sort of very difficult to put it into a sci-fi show and still sort of have some reality in it, and yet also make it like a fantastical story. I think it was, it's so difficult to beat around the bush with this and not actually say anything at all.
I know.
This is such an episode where you have to say, right, this is what happened. How did this happen? Why did this happen? Did this really happen? But I can't actually say what it is.
You get a spoiler right there. You literally get a spoiler right there. And let's see if anyone in the audience who knows, who's seen this episode, will probably know what spoiler he dropped right there as well.
Well, luckily I was just like looking around the room trying to like zone out, so I didn't catch anything then. So I was just like,
No, we
I'm
kept
just tweeting out a
fairly
podcast.
spoiler-free.
In terms of story, like, it was interesting. I mean, moving away from like the main plot of the episode, like the intro, I thought was really sort of misplaced. I don't know about you, but the way they started the episode, which was entirely apart from the rest of the actual story, it was kind of like they meant to put it on at the beginning of the season, at the beginning of the series, and then they were like, oh crap, we left it on the cutting room floor. Just stick it on this episode. It's fine. Like, I don't know. It was interesting and it was nicely shot and it was like a great location, but it just kind of felt tacked on just to fill out the runtime of this episode. I don't know about you.
I know, but I'll tell you this. The one thing, let's talk about something that they already know about, which is they know Missy is involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, I find the whole Missy thing to be an interesting plot twist. Wouldn't you agree?
As in,
the actual occurrences.
Which part though? Because there's still some spoilers regarding Missy.
Oh no, I'm not. This is why I'm being like ultra. What's the word I'm looking for?
Discreet.
Careful.
Yeah, discreet with my words. So basically, obviously, as you guys already know, Missy is involved somewhat. But what's interesting is, without being spoilery, she has no direct involvement on the episode.
Yeah.
Okay.
And yet she has direct involvement over everything.
Yeah.
Like,
see, I heard there's a rumor of the Master actually coming back this season.
Well, yeah, no, he is.
Technically, Missy is the Master.
John
Yeah,
Sim,
but
the Master. He is.
Yeah.
They announced it before the series even started, which was a shame. But also in the first episode of this series, in the coming soon bit, they had one shot of him, and it literally gave me chills. They just had a shot of him turning towards the camera with a beard, and I was just like, "There's the Master." I missed you.
So do you guys reckon Missy is going to regenerate into?
I think Missy. Actually, I've seen one theory that Missy isn't actually the Master. She's actually the Rani, and the entire time she's been lying about being the Master. And then when John Sim, the proper Master, turns up, he's just going to be like, "Who the hell are you?"
Oh, that's interesting. I don't actually know who that is who said, but
it'd be interesting though, because either John Sim's Master would recognize her as like a previous regeneration, potentially, in which case, fair enough, that explains that. Or she'll recognize him as a previous regeneration. But if she doesn't, that kind of proves the point. Because if she doesn't recognize him, then she can't be the master. It can't be a previous regeneration of her. I feel like what I'm saying is not coming out in any sort of legible, understandable way.
Okay, I've got an easy way to sort of like. I've actually got a way to explain this away for the most part.
Go on.
Because I actually figured. Now, the Doctor actually stated that you become who you need to be at the time when you regenerate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, basically, every regeneration has its own personality, its own character. I feel like a Time Lord can regenerate back to their previous forms if they wanted to. But obviously the Doctor's all about doing something new because he's still trying to escape his past in a lot of ways. So he's constantly regenerating into these new faces, not because he has to, but because he wants a fresh start all the time.
Because it's easier to like bear the pain from the past, as you were saying.
Yeah. So I feel like there is every possibility that Missy will regenerate back into the Master rather than being the Master previously.
To be fair, we still haven't actually had any explanation about Missy, where she came from, whether she was in the Time War. And then, well, no, because the Master ran away from the Time War, didn't he? That was his whole thing. He became human to run away from the Time War. So Missy can't have been... Missy is either like a previous regeneration or like you... Or... Oh, God. It's... Until we actually know anything, it's difficult to sort of speculate, because either... How did she sort of live? Because obviously John Sim... I still don't know how they're going to do John Sim's Master, because he sacrificed himself in the end of time. So that'll be interesting to see how they do it. But on top of that, Missy sort of, she just came out of nowhere, and they haven't really explained whether she was before or after. Because if it was before, why didn't the Doctor recognize her? Because, I mean, the Doctor kind of was adamant that the Master was gone. Like, he totally dismissed any possibility of there being another Time Lord when we first met him. And then, like, you know, suddenly she was just there and she just existed. Like, I think she mentioned in Series 8, in the finale of Series 8, when we met her, I think she mentioned something about when the Doctor saved Gallifrey, he also saved her or something like that. But she shouldn't have been on Gallifrey because the Master specifically wasn't on Gallifrey during the Time War.
No, that's something that that was actually explained somewhat. It was very vague and you had to spot it, but they did actually explain that when John Sim sacrificed himself, at the end of time, he actually didn't sacrifice himself. He was transported to the same place as Gallifrey. Because obviously Gallifrey isn't destroyed, it's in its own pocket universe. He didn't die, he was transported to the pocket universe, which is how he ended up in on Gallifrey.
Fair enough, that's interesting. But I thought the whole, like, because he was dying, in the end of time, the Master was dying. Like, he was bursting with energy because the resurrection went wrong. And then that ending part, he was just firing, using up all the rest of his energy. So he might have been transported because he did disappear at the end. But like, I don't know how they could, because they wouldn't have repaired him. They wouldn't have given him a new set of regenerations or given him a new body or whatever. Like, because he was, like they said, he was an abomination. So
I don't deny it. I feel like the reason why they did all that was because they still. I mean, remember, the Time Lords tried to use the Master to get back, if you recall.
What was that, sorry?
Like, they did actually try to use the Master to get back. So there is every possibility that that instance that we see there is actually like the whole how to explain it. this is a complicated one.
Yeah.
But basically, there's every possibility that John Sims' master was simply saved for the purpose of saving the Time Lords in that respect.
But I thought his using him to save Gallifrey, supposedly, that was like, since he was a child, they put the drumbeat in his head. That was the connection. But that plan failed. In fact, the Doctor foiled that plan, and then the Master sort of ensured that they didn't come back, or he wanted to get rid of the Time Lords, didn't he? Right at the end, because he wanted to take control of the Time Lords. He wanted to implant his own sort of personality, his own face into all of them. So I can't imagine that was part of the Time Lord's plan. And then on top of that, they wouldn't then take him back and say, "Oh yeah, all right, that was just a mistake. We've all been there." Like, I feel like they'd either put him to death, or they'd do actually that. From the last, I'm going to be vague about this, but from last night's episode of Doctor Who, that thing at the beginning where we first meet Missy, you'd think that would have been involved with the Master if he'd been taken back. I had to be really vague then, but
yeah. Or she could
I
be,
know, I
like,
get
she
what
could be a
you mean.
relative
Yeah.
of the Master.
I still think that she is undoubtedly the Master. Because at the end of the day, the Master's always been sick in the head, which works perfectly because you think about it, Missy is the Master regenerated as a female so that he could sexually tease the Doctor. Think about that. Does that not sound like something fucked up that the Master would do? Language, my apologies.
Yes. But then it could also be his sister, who's just as fucked up as
Let's not
he
get
is.
into this territory. Oh God.
It's a plot twist. It's Earth Tomb, the Master.
Yeah. Darkest day.
Well, it is after 9 o'clock, so anything can happen.
Yeah. Darkest timeline, Master.
Time to Nerd Out podcast after dark.
All right.
I feel like we
Timeline
should-
Master.
Yeah.
I feel like we should probably segue on from Doctor Who, because I think that's been the last 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And then you two can join in again.
Yeah. Okay, so last week we was predicting who Tom Hardy was going to be. I nearly said Tom Vardy.
Tom Vardy, wow.
Just because of football. But we was predicting who Tom Hardy was going to be in either the DC or Marvel comic universe. And they have announced him. He's going to be Venom in a solo Venom film.
I like it.
What do you think about it?
It's very interesting, but with Venom, we need Spider-Man. So I'm hoping Tom Holland's Spider-Man will be in the Venom film.
But I'm
Or
not too
maybe-
sure. Is this a Sony project or is it a Marvel property? Is the question.
I'm not sure.
Because if it's purely Sony, then Tom Holland won't be in it.
Okay.
But
Well, I'm hoping it's not.
Well, this is the thing. I can see Venom working alone, but because obviously I've read a couple of the comics and I can see it working. And depending on who the Tom Hardy character is, like if he's Eddie Brock, if he's Flash, obviously not you, Barry, but Flash Thompson, because he goes on to be Agent Venom.
I think they announced who it was. Who was the one in the first Spider-Man films? Yeah, the third film.
Eddie Brock.
I think it's going to be Eddie Brock. I think they announced that.
I could see that. I really could, because Tom Hardy, because Eddie is a messed up guy, because he's just had all this crap thrown at him over the years, and he's just. I can see Tom Hardy playing a really good part in that and the Venom stuff.
Also, I heard a rumor, or I heard a thing that he's the only person to play two villains in both comic universes.
Oh, I never thought of that.
Yeah,
interesting. Very interesting.
But no, I think he will. I think it will work. solo film. I think it's due to come out in 2018. Could
That
be
makes
wrong.
sense. Well, I heard a rumor. Like, did anyone see that trailer, Life?
Yeah, Life looked
The one-
amazing. I haven't seen it yet.
That's the thing. I haven't seen it either yet. But like, there was speculation saying that film was apparently a setup for the Venom film.
Oh yeah, no, they did an
Okay.
interview with Did any of you guys watch the interviews with Jake Gyllenhaal and Ryan Reynolds, like for Life? I watched. They're incredible in being interviewed, but that was actually a question that they were asked, and they were just like, "Yeah, no, not
I
even slightly."
Right. Okay. Fair enough. So it's just all rumor based.
Yeah. In terms of, well, in that respect, I saw a thing about Sony wanting to start like sort of a universe, I suppose, of like, but films just based around like Spider-Man bad guys. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
There was like obviously starting with Venom, and then there was one. I think I saw something about Dr. Octopus, and then like, but it was like mostly it was nothing to do with Spider-Man. That was the whole point. They like specifically said it was like a group of films based around the Spider-Man villains. But the thing is, why would you? Unless you're just going to make origin stories for each bad guy and then not do anything with them because they don't use Spider-Man. Like, it'd just be a bit pointless. No one's going to want
It's like, because Sony wanted to do a Sinister Six movie when they were doing the Andrew Garfield movies. But
yeah,
the Sinister Six got together so that they could defeat Spider-Man, not that they could go off and do other stuff.
Yeah.
They actually
It's
just
like-
started a podcast. They just started a podcast. They started a YouTube channel. They upload every week. It's fun.
We are the Sinister Six out of 4. Sinister 4.
I could see that. Green Goblin is like, so we're going to form the Sinister Six. Doc Octopus is like, so we can finally defeat Spider-Man? No, so that we could get all those YouTube views.
There's good money in it.
Collaboration.
Yeah.
Get all the ads.
YouTube ads, the real villains.
The irony when there's a Spider-Man advert before it.
Hey, there you go.
Villains coming to you next week.
Oh, I love it.
But no, it's just a bit fucked up though, isn't it? If Sony's doing that and then Tom Holland is Spider-Man in the Marvel Universe, does that technically mean Tobey Maguire is still, although Andrew Garfield is still Spider-Man in the Sony Universe?
See, I don't know what the situation is with that because I know Marvel, obviously, they have the rights back for Spider-Man because obviously Civil War and now his own film. But Sony seems to have some sort of connection to it, you know? And it's just hard to tell. I just wish they wouldn't like cling on, or basically, like I say, the 20th Century Fox route, where they just cling on to so many rights, just make crappy films after crappy films. Hey, there you go. And then it's literally just they just do it just so they can keep the rights. It's like, well, why? It's like we had 3 Fantastic Four movies which were nothing but awful.
Awful, yeah.
To be fair, they did that with did any of you guys watch that Max Steel? It came out last year. It was meant to be, it was like they set it as a superhero film, but it was like based off a child's toy from like 10 years ago in America. And
I remember the Max Steel toys. I do remember.
To be fair, I watched didn't remember the toy, but I watched the trailer when it first came out. Obviously, I mean, it's a trailer, but I watched it and I thought, this looks really cool. It looks nicely shot. It looks like it could be an interesting story. And then the film was, oh my God, it was appalling. It was like, if you add up that all the Fantastic Four films have been so far and crammed it into one film, it would be the Max Steel film. Like, it was so bad. It was, like you just said, they literally just sort of thought, oh, this could be interesting at some point, but we don't want to lose the rights to it, so let's just chuck something out now so that we can keep the rights. Like, that's literally what it just seemed like. But that's just an aside.
That's movie
I'm just waiting for the Action Man movie. Action Man movie.
I'm surprised they haven't done it. To be fair,
I think they might probably have somewhere.
they've done. I know they've done animated movies, but I don't know if they've done a live action at any point.
No, I don't think they have. Is there anything else going on this week that we could talk about?
Black Lightning trailer.
Black Lightning, that's it.
Yeah.
So
Wonderful
yeah,
thing.
as I was saying last week, it's pretty much the DC Luke Cage. That is pretty much it. Same kind of like he's coming back as the fight, like a hero to save his city. So he's basically he gave up the suit to become a head teacher of a school to like be with his family and stuff like that. And then it's like a crime gang just takes over.
Yeah,
Which is actually from.
I like the premise of it. Yeah, I do like the
it
premise
looks
of the story.
I was watching a video the other day, and it was saying the lightning that he uses is from the Speed Force, kind of like the same lightning Barry Allen has.
Yeah. Well, that'd be interesting though, because it's Black Lightning isn't in the Arrowverse. Like they've specifically said, it's set in a different universe, so they're not going to do any crossovers, which is weird because it's on the CW. You'd think that they'd just like with Supergirl. Supergirl does its own thing, but it's in the same universe so that they can cross over. You'd think that they'd just do that.
Technicality-wise, though, isn't like it all in the same universe. Well, they're not. None of them are in the same universe in technicality because they're all from different parallel universes.
See, I reckon CW will sell out and just do it anyway, like they did with Supergirl.
Yeah.
They'll do anything for fucking money.
Well, the thing is, though, with Supergirl, Supergirl was on, I can't remember which channel it was on, but CW bought it, didn't they, from whichever channel it was on, so that they could have, 4 shows, all in essentially the same universe, so that they could have that whole basically CW universe. But it's just weird that they've got this new show, this new DC show that they're just not gonna have in that universe. Like even if it was just like a different Earth or something like that, you'd just think that it'd be connected in some way. I don't know.
I guess iZombie as well. That should kind of be linked to the Arrowverse or Supernatural.
True. Well, yeah, because iZombie is based on it is a comic book show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's on the CW. So technically they could weave it in, but they won't because the person from iZombie, the Indian doctor, I don't know what his name is.
Ravi. His real name is Rahul Kohli. That's his name. Rahul Kohli.
He was in Supergirl.
Yeah.
He actually played a pretty good part in Supergirl. But yeah, so it's a bit interesting that they're not doing that. But maybe they are saving it for Titans. Because that's happening. They could link that to the Arrowverse, even though it's not going to be on the CW.
Question for you guys. Going back onto Deathstroke yet again. When they eventually do the Titans show, do you think Manu Bennett will reprise Deathstroke?
I don't think so. Because I think they kind of they wouldn't have. I don't think that he's going to be back in it for a prolonged amount of time. I think it's just going to be either this finale episode, and then they'll just sort of have him either die or they'll have him just leave for a bit. He'll escape, and then we just won't see him for a bit. He'll go do his own thing. I don't think Manu Bennett would do that because he specifically said he'd only come back to Arrow for that character if it was really badass. I don't think he'd make a huge point of that and then just reprise it next year for a series, just casually. I don't know. Maybe he will. I suppose it's a matter of money. Realistically, it's a matter of money and how good the stories are.
And you got to think Deathstroke. In the Teen Titans animated show when he was on Cartoon Network a few years ago, Deathstroke was utterly badass in that. He was so sinister, so creepy, but he was someone who you knew could kick your ass.
It'd be interesting to see who they have on the cast as well for Titans, because obviously we've got Kid Flash on the Flash. Would he make the change over to Titans, or will they use Bart Allen?
Maybe. Who knows? You have
Do you reckon-
Damian Wayne, maybe.
Just one thing I've thought about with regards to Flash. Obviously, in an episode earlier in the season with Cisco going to see Gypsy, I can't remember which Earth they were on. I think it was Earth 19. We saw Acceleration Man. Do you reckon he could have some part to play in either the finale this year or next season? Because otherwise, it was a bit weird just to have him like just for a couple of seconds if they're not going to have anything further. Like at the end of season 1 of The Flash, when they had Jay Garrick's helmet come through the rift, like they built on that in season 2, and that was really cool. But it was kind of like, why would they just show Acceleration Man for 3 seconds and then not do anything else with him for however long?
Yeah. I really hope he does return in the last episode, but I'm willing to have him back in season 4. Also, in that episode where Barry lost his memory, Bart Allen got name dropped so many fucking times. It made me so happy. But I just really hope they do have Bart Allen on the show at some point.
Nice.
Even if he is on it just to come to Titans, I'll be very happy. Alex, you was going to say something as well about Jay Garrick, but...
Oh, no, I was just pointing out that they very cleverly put together that story. Like, they also screwed with you by doing the whole Zoom thing. That was, like, the biggest of moves.
Yeah.
I have a really noisy cat. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's all good.
It's okay. At least you got some pussy.
Oh,
Hey.
God.
4 cats.
Oh,
4 freaking cats.
and the bar just got even lower.
Donald Trump.
Far gone.
Yeah, so...
Anyway.
Would you like to see Jay Garrick in the Flash film? It's an interesting question. I would like to know.
I'd say no, because I think, at least not in the first Flash film, if they're going to do a few of them, which I imagine they probably will, I think maybe introduce him later on. Because in the first film, we need to get to know and like this Flash. Because everyone that's going to be, I imagine everyone that's going to be watching the Flash film has watched the Flash.
Are going to be fans of the TV series.
And therefore, whether they like Grant Gustin's portrayal of the character anyway, and I think it's kind of a unanimous yes, but I think everyone is going to sort of envisage him as the Flash now. I mean, he was my first sort of version of the Flash that I ever saw. So even watching the Flash, Ezra Miller, I like him as an actor, but he's going to have a hard job to have people see him as the Flash now instead, especially seeing as we're going to get... Especially seeing as through the Justice League trailer, we saw that Henry Allen is in prison. So it looks like we are going to get that story again. So if they are going to do that story, they're going to have to like really do it well. Like, because season 1 of The Flash nailed that story. So,
yeah, definitely.
You know, it depends. Are they going to change it? Are they going to have it in any other way? Or I don't know. I just... You know, they've got a job ahead of them, and I think they should spend that film trying to get us to really root for this Flash rather than just introducing 20 speedsters and going, just pick one of your favorites.
Yeah.
See, I really liked the Flash from the trailers already. Like, the comedy sense is just right. I think the way we're going with it. Also, by the looks of it, I don't think he's at Star Labs. I think he's just like in his basement or by himself. It looks like he's already made Gideon as well, which is a bit interesting. But I just want to know, is he going to have a team behind him?
I was going to say that's another thing, because if you had to cast Cisco and Caitlin, Like, I mean, I assume Harrison Wells as well, because if you're doing that story, then you need Harrison Wells. Like, you know, who would you guys cast to play the role of Harrison Wells? Because Tom Cavanaugh has nailed it in 3 different seasons, 3
Different
completely
roles as well.
different
3
characters.
different variations as well.
Like,
I'd say Tom Cavanaugh, just because of how like caliber of acting he has is just unreal.
true, but if they did that, then they'd have to admit that the universes are connected, and then they'd say, "Well, hang on, why isn't Grant Gustin playing the Flash then?" And Zack Snyder said, apparently Zack Snyder said it's something to do with them like, because the tone is going to be different. The tone's going to be darker in the film, and they don't want to get Grant Gustin, who nails it in a lighter sense, and sort of have it mix, I assume.
But there's like a character in the new comics, isn't there, that's meant to be like Harrison Wells, but it's not Harrison Wells. So I guess they could put him. No, it's not Harrison Wells at all.
Scott, no, I know the one you're talking about. I'd have to reread the Rebirth series of The Flash because like there's no mention in the button. But I'll reread some of the first couple of issues I've got and see if he comes up.
Yeah, because I've only heard about it. I haven't seen it, but I know there is a character like Harrison Wells that's not. So I guess they could put him in it instead of Harrison Wells. But from the Flash, the first ever series, Tina McGee was like a big part in Star Labs. So I don't know if they'll go down that route again or make up a complete character we don't fucking know from the comics or TV show.
Oh, that's the thing. I'll be open to that. Maybe like some completely new character that just to introduce like diehard comic fans and also casual fans, because then at least they're in a similar sort of position.
Yeah, that's what I did with Harrison Wells. Like he's a character not from the comics.
Yeah, and going off to back up your point there, Jack. I finished playing Arkham Knight earlier.
Okay.
There's a side mission in it with a guy called Pig, Pyg.
Okay.
Have you guys played Arkham Knight at all, or do you know of it, or like?
I've played it a bit, but I haven't done that side mission.
But it's a side mission where basically you find like butchered bodies like hanging around Gotham, like as if they're on a crucifix.
Yeah.
And like you've got to they've been like dissected in certain ways. Like a wedding ring was put in a woman's rib cage, and there was like some. It's really gross, and like there's classical music playing in the background. Really good setup to it. But then you find out who the character is, and like I'm thinking it's like this is not a character from the comics. He was made specifically for the game, and I think from what I recall, he was working in a beauty parlor, something like that. And like his idea is to try and create like the perfect human being.
Okay.
And the ones that don't manage to survive, he just throws them away because they're damaged or like tormented in some way, and like lets you get to that last thing. And it's just so creepy. But again, like not a character introduced at all until the game, and it was probably my favorite side mission of the entire game.
Yeah, so I think they could do that with the movie, because I don't think they'll go down Caitlin and Cisco route just because
no, probably not.
And we've already seen it done with the TV show.
Yeah.
So hopefully,
they don't want to just copy and paste it, do they?
No. So hopefully we'll get some decent members of Team Flash.
We shall see.
If it might be a solo movie, we don't know. I think we should do an episode just talking about the Flash movie. Soon.
I reckon we should do an episode for the next DC film that's coming out, which is Wonder Woman, I believe.
Wonder Woman, yes.
In a few days.
Next month or July.
It's the 1st of June. It comes out midnight, 1st of June, yeah. Well, 2nd of June.
I didn't realize it was that soon.
2nd of June, yes, which is your birthday.
Oh, blimey! Yeah, I'm probably going to book tickets for the midnight release.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to do the same thing.
I'll have to see if I'm working the next day. If it's on Friday, it might be all right. But if not, then I might be screwed.
Yeah.
I think I'm planning on. I'm gonna go see it on a midnight release, and then I think I might film a review for the channel.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Well, spoiler-free review, obviously, but
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
going to be a very challenging thing to do.
yeah, I know.
Very.
You're gonna do an all-nighter, mate.
Yeah. I'll just take notes in the cinema.
Yeah.
Take
Yeah,
a
just
note.
there in the back with like a spectacle, just like. Yeah, we didn't like that.
After Wonder Woman, it will be Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Yes,
And
that's
then November. Then
November.
November. Justice League and Thor Ragnarok. Give it to me, baby.
Yes.
Give it to me, baby.
And all the girls say I'm pretty fly for a god like Dune. Anyway,
But yeah, I think that's all for today, guys.
yep.
Unless you guys want to put anything else.
Nope.
I think we've covered what we've planned and got a little bit extra in there.
Yep. I
Definitely.
think we're done for this episode.
I do apologize for my technical faults on my end. My camera's so terrible, but at least I got the new microphone. So maybe that's something I need to invest in now, boys.
Or new internet.
But yeah, new internet might help, but when you're living in the parents' house and you're in Swansea, it's not good.
But yeah, guys, if you did enjoy this podcast, please smash the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We'll be back same time, same nerdy place.
Same bat time.
Yeah. Always try not to copy that too much.
Yeah.
Come back next week to nerd out with us, and we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
All right, guys.
Bye.